Imagine a state burning for more than 850 days, yet it barely makes the national headlines. Now, this is the story of Manipur, and Manipur, many experts argue, has remained invisible as far as India's democratic consciousness is concerned. So, what is the root cause of this Manipur violence, and why this issue of Manipur is not basically raised in media as much as the other issues? Let us try to understand this in more detail. Now, first of all, to give you the background of this entire topic, we know that somewhere in the year 2023, on 3rd of May, we have seen eruption of ethnic violence in the valley regions of Manipur. The violence largely was between two groups, Kuki, who are living in the hill areas of Manipur, and the Meiteis, who live in the valley areas of Manipur. So this has become today one of the longest running internal conflict. We try to look at the independent India as such. However, even after so much discussions, deliberations, and dialogue, the current state of Manipur is that it has remained in what we can call as an uneasy silence. We have seen eruption of sporadic violences every now and then. Plus, overall, the entire system administration seems to be plagued by bureaucratic inertia as such. In other way, we can say that the crisis of Manipur has been kind of marginalized as far as the national discourse is concerned, and this is even after when Prime Minister Modi has recently made a visit to the Manipur as such. Now, obviously, the humanitarian impact of this crisis has been humongous, because as per the recent report, it is believed that over 60,000 people have been displaced, their houses have been burned, and they are living in the relief camp. Hundreds of villages and churches have been destroyed and deserted, and the aspect of rehabilitation still is something that is almost absent, or it requires, or it basically this receives minimal government support as such. So apart from that, also if you look at the administration and the governance of Manipur, we know that somewhere in the month of February 2025, the N. Biren Singh late state government has to basically he has to resign, and the state government fell. After that, there was imposition of president rule in the state as such. Now, even after that, it has been extended twice in the state of Manipur, and this is something that many scholars argue is not good, because Article 356, under which president's rule is imposed in any particular region of India, is meant for the exceptional breakdown, not for the general government machinery to be replaced, or general state administration to be replaced as such. So overall, the imposition and the extension of this president's rule in Manipur clearly highlights there is some degree of lack in the political engagement with the state, or there is a lack of concept of justice or reconciliation in such. Governance has been replaced by informal militarization that is being seen due to the imposition of Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Now, also, this entire situation can be considered as a failure of the central as well as state government. BJP-led state government has failed during the peak violence, and that is the reason why N. Biren Singh has to resign from his chief ministership post even when his term was remaining. Second, the credible investigation has not been conducted out that also many of the Kukiju community and its representative state into the mass killing, arson, and sexual violences that the state has witnessed in the last few years. And also, as far as the conflict between the Meiteis and Jo is concerned, the root causes the tribal versus non-tribal differences. Meiteis also want to get the tribal status, while Kukis do not want this, because it will bring both of them at par with each other, and Kuki fear that it will further cause them to be marginalized and displaced as such. So, due to this conflict, due to this particular differences, we have not seen any peace roadmap emerging in the state of Manipur. Plus, people who have been displaced, the families who have to flee because of violence, there is no rehabilitation plan as such. Now, what more can we do for the Manipur? Before understanding this, I would want to bring your attention to the fact that Legacy IAS Academy, we are going to soon commence batches. The regular weekday batches are going to start on 16th of October, while the weekend batches are going to begin on 4th and 25th of October. We ensure comprehensive coverage of all GS papers. We ensure that there is a one-to-one mentorship and doubt-solving sessions, daily mains answer writing practice, and also test series for the prelims as well as mains examination. Now, obviously, UPSC focuses on the current affairs and a static part both. Thus, we also emphasize 360-degree coverage of current affairs. Now, there are many course programs and features. If you want to know more detail about this, you can reach out to us by clicking the link in the description box or calling to the number being displayed here on your screen as such. Now, if you try to understand that the main concern stakeholders and scholars and experts argue and raise about is the democratic deficit prevailing in the state. And this is seen due to the sporadic imposition of internet shutdowns, continuous imposition of Armed Forces Special Power Acts, and arbitrary detentions of many dissidents that scholars argue has continued as such. There has been attempt to debate Manipur in parliament, but this debate did not yield any fruit because either it was blocked or the debate occurred in a very diluted form as such. Example is 2023 winter season when the opposition MPs were suspended for demanding debate on the issue as such. So overall, what many of the scholars coming from the Manipur argue is that Manipur has been treated as a peripheral issue, not a main issue in the national politics. And the question is that why it is so. The reason given is because as far as the electoral importance or significance of the state of Manipur is concerned, it is very low, because only two Lok Sabha seats are allotted in Manipur. So Manipur is only sending two member of parliament, two Lok Sabha, we can say, participant in the central government in the Delhi as such. Second, due to the media blackout, we have very sporadic coverages of Manipur, and this is something that is very different from Kashmir, where even small issues and disputes and the attacks in the Kashmir is making a news headlines. Such kind of issues do not make headlines if it, and the events do not make headline if it is taking place in the Manipur as such. Third, the entire state is considered or basically seen from a security lens as such, not as citizens with equal right. That is also allegation coming from many of the experts here. And because of geographical and cultural distances also from Delhi's political caste, the issue of Manipur do not get that much attention and traction. So it is because of this region why the issue of Manipur is not always debated, and after some time it is forgotten as such. And this is something that is similar to the pattern of neglect that we see in other areas. For example, in Kashmir, due to AFSPA, communication blackout, mass arrest. Chhattisgarh, you have Salwa Judum, fake encounter, displacement. Nagaland also, the neighboring state of Manipur, has been suffering from decades of insurgency, and peace talks has been going on for a long time, but without any yielding any kind of significant result as such. And Manipur is basically fitting into India's conflict governance model. That also is one of the allegations. Now, what should we do, or what should government do to ensure that there should be adequate democratic response to the state's problem, and the Methi Kuki problem can be solved for a long term? So first is there is a requirement of urgent parliamentary debate with victim testimonies. Second, also scholars argue that rather than what you can call as bringing up with a government mandated commission or government led commission, government officials led committee, there should be independent truth commission, not controlled by government, and the members of this commission should be what you can call as respected by both Kuki community, Jo community. There should be a great degree of impartiality, and then only both of the communities can agree to any such kind of commission's report and commission's demand as such. Third, there should be disarmament of militia, because you know that due to the law and order situation, both of the communities have formed their own militias as such. Kukis have their own militias, Metis have also come up with their own militias, and this is something that is not required. So they should be completely disarmed with national oversight as such. And fourth, there should be equal rehabilitation. The concern and the interest of both of the groups, Metis and Jo communities, should be held at paramount, and then only from there we can move to a permanent peace and solution and progress in the Manipur. Now, in conclusion, what we can say that the violence began somewhere on 3rd of May 2023, and if you calculate today, it is more than 850 plus days of violence. However, required action has not been taken. And when you talk about democracy, obviously the entire India is a democratic entity, democratic regions as such. But many scholars argue that democracy is not only conducting elections. It cannot be equated with elections as such. Democracy is where you have the prevalence of justice. You have the feeling of inclusion by all the members of the communities, and there is accountability for the failures on the part of administration and government as such. Second, democracy also ensures the freedom of press and protection of activists, which is very, very essential and the cornerstone of any democracy as such. So if 850 plus days of violence has not compelled action, what else will compel action? And that is why ignoring Manipur is not a solution. Rather, it's betrayal of India's constitutional value as such. And that is why urgent action steps are required as far as the issue of Manipur is concerned. That is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you very much.